Hey everybody, what's up? This is Andrew Erickson here from Pro Football Focus. I'm here today to talk about everybody's favorite team, the 0-16 Cleveland Browns from 2017. Hashtag Dog Pound. So today I'm going to be kind of going over the most compelling storyline, of the team, of the roster going into the 2018 season. So there's a lot of different things that we could discuss, with today. Obviously with the quarterback situation, you have Tyrod Taylor there, and then obviously the number one overall pick in Baker Mayfield. And then in addition to that, you have a very deep wide receiver group, especially with, a polarizing player like Josh Gordon himself, who's kind of found himself in the news this last couple of days. Maybe not for the right reasons, but, regardless, I'm going to shy away from those other positions, and I'm really going to focus in on the running back position, which is the one that I find the most compelling entering the 2018 NFL season. So the Cleveland Browns have a bit of a three-headed monster, as, people would like to say, but it is a crowded backfield. So you have Duke Johnson Jr., the dynamic pass catching running back there, who has been there in the last couple of seasons and has signed a new contract, to extend him with the Cleveland Browns. So it seems like he'll be in the future. Then you also have Carlos Hyde, a newly free agent running back that they signed, to a nice deal in the offseason. And then in the NFL draft, with their second pick, they took Nick Chubb. So realistically, what to kind of expect from the offense of each of these running backs? Well, what I do expect is that Todd Haley is going to put these running backs in a position to succeed. So with that being said, looking at them we'll start with Duke Johnson. In terms of, how he's going to succeed and with all these running backs really is getting them in space. Pro Football Focus, our team does a great job here of, collecting information, but all of these running backs have elusive running ability. Whether it's Duke Johnson and he's after the catch, after a reception, he is very elusive. He graded second as the second best running back, 90.9 grade, as a receiving running back, after he caught a pass, elusiveness. And then you have, another guy with Carlos Hyde who ranked third highest in terms of his elusiveness after a rushing attempt. So, and then you throw in Nick Chubb, who another, obviously at the college level had also a very, very high elusive rating that ranked as one of the tops in the NFL draft class. So you have these three guys here that all have, definitely solid upside that can be used in different ways. But specifically looking at Duke Johnson as the primary pass catching back, that's probably what his role is going to continue to be. What we want to look for here is who he's been compared to so far. I mean, if you look at these elite running backs, you see Duke Johnson with Kamara, Todd Gurley, Christian McCaffrey. That's a name that you want to be associated with. Those are guys that are playing at an elite level, and to have Duke Johnson's name anywhere near that, that's telling you something about his pass catching ability. He ranked only behind Kamara as, in terms of elite running back based on Pro Football Focus rankings, and in terms of forced mixed tackles, once again, steaming to his elusiveness, he ranked second, once again behind Alvin Kamara, who's a pretty hot commodity at the running back position. So Duke Johnson's going to probably find himself once again in the running back position as that pass-catching running back. Unfortunately, though, for him, the second down, first down work is probably going to end up going to Carlos Hyde or Nick Chubb. So specifically looking at Nick Chubb, he's been an elusive running back, as I said in the beginning, but he's also been, able to break tackles. He's been able to force missed tackles, third amongst the NFL draft class this season, and then 840 yards after contact, which he ranked fourth among the same class. So you have a running back that has that build of a first and second down mold with Nick Chubb. But I do think that Carlos Hyde is going to be the one that gets the first crack at it. He does have that veteran experience that Nick Chubb doesn't possess. And so I do think that, especially with Todd Haley being hired, and then immediately after his hiring, signing Carlos Hyde to a lucrative deal for the most part at the running back position. Running backs don't get paid that much, especially on their second contract. So they did bring in Carlos Hyde on, a decent amount of money. So I do expect him to definitely start it. But the biggest thing to point out here is, even though Carlos Hyde has a, high elusive rating and was overall productive last year in San Francisco, well, the thing to really point out here, and this is, a shout out to, all of our fantasy football addicts out there, including myself. So of the top 15 running backs in terms of PPR, Carlos Hyde actually had the worst grade, even though he ranked inside the top 10 at the running back position in terms of fantasy points. So that is an interesting stat, and it may have just been, being a product of the Kyle Shanahan system within San Francisco. He was feathered with targets, and he's not really known as being a pass-catching back. So I do think that Carlos Hyde will get the first crack at it, but, whether it's an injury or just, he doesn't produce, it could be, not long before Nick Chubb, from Georgia takes over at the running back position. Carlos Hyde, look at these top 15 scorers, he ranked significantly lower than the 14th ranked player here, Jordan Howard, who ranked at 73.6, where you have Carlos Hyde following it at 51.9. So I do think, once again, I think that Carlos Hyde will get the first, crack at the job. But, second half of the season, especially if the Browns is somewhat lost, I definitely could see the Browns kind of switching gears and moving towards Chubb as we kind of roll out the rest of the season. But I do believe that Duke Johnson will maintain his role as pass catching back because he's shown elite status in that role. This is me, Andrew Erickson here from Pro Football Focus. You can follow me on Twitter at @AndrewErickson_. And I hope to talk to you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.